I didn't do it. I'm not responsible for it. It wasn't my idea.
I think images are worth repeating, images repeated from a painting.
I had no idea they did it. I'd change it if I could, but I can't.
Images taken from a painting, from a photo worth re-seeing. I love images worth repeating, project them upon the ceiling, multiply them with some screening, see them with a different feeling. Images.
There's a lot of artists that I like, contemporary artists. I love Laurie Anderson, I love Julian Schnabel, I like Cindy Sherman, Nat Golden, Chuck Close, Chucky, and of course Mr. Warhol.
When you're growing up in a small town, when you're growing up in a small town, when you're growing up in a small town, you say, no one famous ever came from here.
I've been in bars all my life, all through public school, very young school. I was in there legally, always in a band. Always in a band, 13 years old, straight through, in a band, in a bar. So actually, I was doing that before I did anything. Along with that, I went to school sometimes. And I also could support myself through school doing that.
There's only one good thing about a small town. There's only one good use for a small town. There's only one good thing about a small town. You know that you want to get out. When you're growing up in a small town, you know you'll grow down in a small town. There's only one good use for a small town. You hate it. You know you'll have to leave.
Writers, Burroughs, Selby, Ginsberg, the litany of people I like. Chandler, Dostoevsky. Now there's a combo. Poe always has to do with that. Conflict. Absolutely, positively, for sure. And that's a fundamental rule of writing.
The image of the poets in the breeze. Canadian geese are flying above the trees. Mist is hanging gently on the lake. My house is very beautiful at night. My teacher and friend occupies a spare room. Dead at peace at last, the wandering Jew. Other friends had put stones on his grave. He was the first great man that I had ever met.
I should have kept my mouth shut. Oh, because it sounds so pretentious. The rock lyric is as good as any poem you asshole academics can write out there, so fuck you. That's from the Charles Bukowski school of responding to questions. I think they can more than hold their own. But it's not for me to say. I can't tout my own lyrics.
Delmore, I missed all your funny ways. I missed your joke, the brilliant things you said. My dead list to your bloom, such a perfect wit. And to find you in my house makes it perfect.
What's not to like? I love that sound. Very powerful, very emotional, very freeing. Every time I hear that, it sounds like freedom. When I grew up, the way I grew up was like being in jail. So being able to hear music like that was an indication that somewhere there was something way better than where I was. And that's what I liked about it. And I'm not in jail anymore, but I still love that. It's like the wings of an angel. Always people coming from the outside. They're the ones who have no money and they want to do certain things, and they hate the people who do have money. That's called the establishment. And it'll always be that way. And as long as there are talented young people coming up, that'll exist. I wrote for fun. I still write for fun. If it turns into I have to write something, I would have to quit. Since I was this high, I've been playing guitar. Collector's item. Voila! I want to play guitar like Ornette played sax. I used to follow him around. I'm a very big fan of his. Couldn't afford to see him at the time because I was a student, so I'd listen through the grating, through the window. Play with some amazing musicians, it changes your life. Ornette asked me to play with him when he had a week at Lincoln Center. I think we did 2 of my songs, Ornette played on it, so that led to The Raven, that particular track. There's 7 versions of it. We wanted to put out an album of all 7 because they're all very, very different. It's all kind of remarkable. And then you get told, well, no one gives a shit about Ornette except you. Why don't you bring in some 14-year-old who's hot? That's the advice I get. Songs for Drella album about Warhol. I thought it would start a whole way of doing things, of using music to do a biography. And that you would have, you know, a section in the CD store. You could meet Malcolm X through music. You could meet this one through music. But that's not what happened. A lot of my ideas take a while. The only problem for me in the career is the business end of it. I came to terms with that. That's like reality. That's real life. Someday maybe I'll buy a club and I'll be the house band as the owner who can't be fired, who doesn't, you know, have to listen to any of it. You, ouch, ouch, ouch. That's it. Why? Because I say so.
They call you ecstasy, nothing ever sticks to you. Not Velcro, not Scotch tape, not my arms dipped in glue. Not if I wrap myself in nylon, a piece of duct tape down my back.
I did this show in New York. It was really great because I said we played Crowbar, this dance club. And I was doing a song called Ecstasy, and Ecstasy is talking about a certain car that's been, the car's been destroyed. They stole everything out of it, the radio, the tire, everything's gone, the car's sitting in the street. And I said to them, you know, by the way, if you go outside the club and walk over there, you could see what I'm writing about.
They took off its wheels, the engine is gone. In its seat sits a box with a note that says, goodbye, Charlie, thanks a lot. I see a child through a window with a bib, and I think of us and what we almost did.
Some of the young people I've met really enjoy records. If they're going to listen to MP3s and make it downloadable, why make it something that sounds good? Why even bother? You could record a lot of these things at home. So many different software solutions that are out there. So it's a real question of what people want. If they've never heard anything good in the first place, they have nothing to compare it to. Downloading, that takes time. You gotta really want to do that. It is kind of confusing. It's like one thing, hey, here's my CD, you want to go copy it? That's one thing. But if you're doing it with 8 million other people, what happens? One guy buys it, that's it, gone, it's all over. I'm doing a lot of different kinds of music. And it'll be on my website at some point. I wanted to do some meditation music. And I did that, and I brought in my Chinese doctor who does a meditation instruction over the music, and then the music's alone. And some electronic music for martial arts, Chen Tai Chi, very specific. That's the one that's not slow. That music's astonishing. That's what I'm working on. It's nice not to have to sing.
Merci.